because we're using the NDI and not the other one that flips it forward. Just flip, but you can see it. Yeah. Yo. They can't hear us live out though, right? Hey, what's up, Mo? Yo. What's up, Doug? Okay. What are you seeing on your end? Is it backwards, like flipped over? What are you seeing? Everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the DA Perspective. Man, I got stuff all over this table, huh? Need that water though. Yeah, so a lot of things went on this week. I hope everybody's in pretty good spirits. Excuse me while I get some water. Lots going on this week. We got some senators who did some nefarious things and basically use inside information, as I reported on before about 2 weeks ago. We got some senators who are now, their feet are being held to the flame here. So we'll talk about that today. I want to touch on the Navajo Nation, the original peoples of this land who are being decimated right now by coronavirus, as if they weren't already in a world of hurt. I want to talk about probably the biggest news that's on everyone's mind right now, or the HEROES Act, the political theater that the Democrats have put on, because while I hope I'm wrong, I promise you that is not going to pass. I also want to talk about in Chicago, coronavirus has brought about another time to talk about the food deserts in Chicago and how it's impacting Black communities specifically. Because of lack of access to nutritious foods and how that's affecting those communities, especially compounded by coronavirus. So I also might get into something about some magic mushies, but we might leave that for another day. So, all right. So I wanted to kind of switch up. As you can see, we've kind of switched everything up over here. We kind of got a little different format going on. I also got Tehran is here with me today. He's gonna go for a ride with us through the whole show. So as I'm going through my clips and doing my spiel, we're gonna have him come in and out. So Tehran, if you want to pop in and say hello to everyone real quick, let's do that. How you doing, my guy?
What the hell?
Peace and blessings to everybody.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead if you want to do another intro. Can we hear him? I can't hear him on mine. Give me 1 second.
Because I came in and spent a TTY show. It says
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, so
Mic check. Is a video playing on mine or is that playing on yours?
I have another
Playing on mine. Let's find out.
Pico now that will give me sudo.
Oh, it's this? Is it this? That's not for me. Are we good? Yeah, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it was. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead, Tehran. Introduce yourself to everyone again.
For everybody else.
Where's that coming from? All right, hold on 1 second. We're
What are you hearing?
Because every time I try, it says I can't do anything because no TTY is present.
How are you spawning?
You're in the video
How
playing?
are you getting the shell
That's
that you're
Twitch.
using?
I
Yeah.
got it through Lucky.
Hold on 1 second. Did you kill it? Oh, there you go. That's okay. Hey, looking for a new tech. No, I'm just kidding. Hector can stay. He's dude. Honestly, this does not happen as one person. So great. No, all right, cool. So yeah, lots was going on. Do you think it was only when you pulled him in, right? All right. Either way, Tehran, go ahead and introduce yourself. Today, you're gonna help us out with some Federal Reserve news, some economy news, some stock market news. So yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Peace and blessings. Tehran Mobley, full-time dad, full-time stock trader. Pay attention to a lot of the news that affects the market on a daily basis and an ongoing as well. And I follow just to get the information out to people such as myself. I'd like to capitalize on the information. So it's good to know. Saves you time, gives you freedom, liberty, do your own thing, you know?
Yeah, that's actually a big topic right now with people is freedom and liberty. I'm sure we'll probably get into a discussion here in a little bit about the people, protesting to reopen, as opposed to the people who want to kind of stay at home and stuff like that. I think that was on the docket today too. Also, another thing, we got control cam going. Can we hit that control cam? Let's give Hector a little shout out. Let's see where he's at. Oh, Hector, control cam. How's that audio?
Control cam.
Should be pretty good. What's going on, guys? How are
You
you?
gotta look into the camera though, bro, while you do it.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, we got control cam. We got Mo. Oh, Mo's on top. All right, let's go back to Maine and let's jump into the show. Let's get right in it. All right, cool. So first story that I want to go over. Let's jump right into the Navajo Nation. Did I close that? I think I did. No, actually, you know what? Let's jump into the HEROES Act. So Democrats late last night passed a bill. Oh, actually, that's what I wanted to pull up for you guys. So I have a question for everyone at home. How fast can you read? Probably like, well, why is this guy asking me how fast can I read? Well, this bill is in response to coronavirus, and I know you can't see it on the screen behind me because it's white, and that's fine. Do you have the shot where you can pull up? You can't pull up my screen, right? Oh, it says a PDF. That's why. Don't worry about it. Ah, there it is. My God. Okay. So check this out. If you can see right here where my mouse pointer is not going to be on there. Long story short, this bill is 1,815 pages. So the reason why I asked you if you could read fast is because I don't know anyone that could read that many pages within a couple of days, right? So this is supposed to be the supplementary bill that's going to save us, in addition to the other bills that were supposed to have already saved us. So put yourself in the shoes of a sitting representative in the House. And I know you have aides, right? I know they have aides. I know they have people that help them comb through this stuff. But when you vote yay or nay, that vote is on you. How could you have possibly read this entire thing before you voted on it? I'll wait for the answer, but I already know what it is. So either way, let's just go through what's in this thing. And if it gets passed, like I said, Donald Trump already said it's DOA. Well, take it back. The Senate already said it was DOA, like dead on arrival in the Senate. And then Trump said if for whatever reason it makes it to his desk that he was going to veto it. So yeah. Here. So the CBS. So this is like kind of the clip notes of what's in it right here. So Nancy Pelosi unveiled massive coronavirus relief bill. That was on Tuesday of this week. Here we are, Saturday, and it got passed late last night, Friday. So we're looking at a $3 trillion proposal on Friday. Ooh, should we do the MacBook thing again? Yesterday we calculated what $3 trillion actually was, right? Because we're saying all these numbers now, and I think people are actually like you lose like track of like what that actually is. Like what is $3 trillion, right? So just know that it's a whole lot of MacBooks, and like the mid-grade MacBooks, like the $3,500 MacBooks. And so the thing is, do you have a box for me on the screen? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so basically, I feel like sometimes these people that are making these bills, they're used to just seeing these numbers, and they don't even know what it means anymore. Obviously, they have some form of calculation that they use to come up with, like, who gets what. Like, for instance, and I know you can't see this again, but one of the line items in here, the first thing that's in here is for agriculture. You can go back to the... Sorry, get me back on the PDF. Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration. They have in here for the Office of the IG $2.5 million. Okay. If we go down a little bit further, right here, I highlighted one for domestic food programs. For child nutrition programs, we got $3 billion. And if we keep going, we can find there's more money appropriated. Here's another one for SNAP, $10 billion. And if we keep going, we'll just do one more. Let's find one more dollar amount that's just random thrown out there. Here we go. For an additional amount of the program, here's another $20 million that remains in effect until September 30th, 2021. So you can go back to main. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of dollar amounts running there, and they're all like extended to 2021. So if that should give you any clue as to when these people think, two things. They either think this is a really good time to slide in some of these funding programs that I've always wanted to do, which is usually what governments do. Because if you guys remember, there was a video that I played last week, I believe, where Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton were talking to each other, and Hillary said, "This is a good pandemic to waste," like meaning like don't waste a good pandemic. You can get a lot done when everyone's in a frenzy, and it's true. I mean, that's why we have a consolidation of power now and wealth, right? Because remember those first few bailout packages that went out. Had they worked for us, for the people, we would not be needing this one that the Dems are trying to push through now, right? I'm just saying. So either they're trying to push in like their pet projects in through here because this bill has appropriations for money that lasts until 2021. And we're talking September 30th, 2021, which is also fiscal year type stuff. But or they really genuinely think that our economy is going to be jacked, which it is, until 2021, but also that coronavirus is going to linger in this manner for at least another year. So let's go back to let's go back to some more line items in the HEROES Act. So we got $500 billion in direct assistance to state governments to counter the fiscal impacts of the pandemic. We got another $375 billion for local governments. We got another $20 billion for tribal governments, and you'll see where that's really important when we talk about the Navajo Nation and the Hopi Nation as well. And then we have another $20 billion to U.S. territories. In case you're wondering, Puerto Rico's not doing very good right now, and as far as I heard, they haven't received anything. Definitely not anything substantial. So I imagine that this $20 billion for U.S. territories, Puerto Rico falls into that, right? As well as the other U.S. territories. Can we just call them colonies, right? Like, why do we call them territories? Like, is it because colonizers is like a bad thing? But that's what the fuck it is, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah, because, dude, that's a whole other issue. Okay. So we got hazard pay for frontline workers. Okay. We got $200 billion in HEROES Fund. Also, isn't it clever how they always name these things like something like buzzwordy? Like the CARE Act was CARE Act, like we care for you, but they didn't. They only cared to give themselves more money. And it says the HEROES Fund. Okay, so HEROES Fund, we got so $200 billion for the HEROES Fund to ensure that essential workers receive hazard pay, and their employers would be able to apply for grants to provide $13 per hour premium on top. So that would be like kind of the hazard pay. Let's see, and let's go. So we have an extension of unemployment benefits. So that $600 per week boost that some people are getting right now, they want to extend that. This one goes till 2021 January. We got forgiveness of student loan debt. Sounds awfully Sandra-esque, doesn't it? Are you guys appealing to the progressives? I think they are. This legislation would extend existing student loan payment plans in the CARES Act. Obviously does not cover private loan borrowers, and it provided up to $10,000 in debt relief to be applied to a private student loan to be paid in monthly installments. I have to really dig into that because I don't see anything in there about forgiveness. I'll have to literally go through the bill for that one. So we got funding for testing, tracing, and treatments. That's $75 billion for coronavirus testing, contact tracing, and isolation measures. I actually shared on Facebook yesterday my personal one. Actually, I'll do it on the DA perspective one as well. It's a course. It's like a 5-hour course, I believe. It's on Coursera.org, I believe is the website. And it's kind of the preliminary step to becoming a contact tracer. The country is in dire need of contact tracers. If you really want to get rid of this coronavirus and you also want to be integral in making sure that we can go back to normal as soon as possible, and you have, how do I say this? I don't want to say like you don't have a job, but I'm just saying like you have, like you So we got assistance for farmers. You guys really need to look into the way that our agricultural sector is handled in the United States. People are drinking less milk, yet we continuously pump money into the dairy industry. So there's a lot of big money interest in there that we could probably do a whole nother show on that. But just keep that in mind when you're going to see a lot of like agriculture spending bills like continuously for the duration of your life until our government changes. You're just going to keep seeing these agriculture bills going out. And a lot of them are for dairy farmers. It's not even for meat production and stuff. Now, this one just says farmers, so it's not specific dairy, but it's another line item to go to. Let's go back to that. All right, so here we go. We got protections for renters and homeowners. I know it's a big deal for a lot of people right now, too. Here's $100 billion in emergency assistance to low-income renters to help you avoid eviction. It would also provide $70 billion to the states. This next part is probably going to be your favorite. Your $1,200 checks are coming back. It's like the McRib, dude. It's like for a limited time only. $1,200 checks are back. Listen, I don't want you to be excited about a $1,200 check. You know why? Because if I'm not mistaken, I got to find the number, but what these bills are costing us per American, like per person, is far greater than $1,200, okay? That means they're writing a fucking check, right, that you have to pay individually, each person, right? And they're writing a check and they're only giving you a portion of it when they cash it out. It's crazy, right? Everyone else is getting all this money. And it's very simple to fix a lot of this. It's very simple. We have a consumer economy. If we don't buy shit, the economy doesn't work, right? Because we don't make anything here. We delegated that responsibility to the Chinese manufacturers and a couple other areas in the world a long time ago. As the rise of globalization came and international commerce and the internet allowed us to buy things across the pond and all that good stuff, there was no emphasis on keeping American jobs American because Americans cost too much. That's what they say. That's the truth. Our labor costs are higher, but we also have a different standard of living. So you can't have one without the other. So corporations, because again, capitalism is all about making as much money as possible, and it doesn't matter who's in your way. You'll just demolish them to get there, and usually it's the workers, in addition to the environment and a bunch of other things. So there was no incentive to keep labor here. So we don't make anything in America. We do things, but we don't make stuff, right? Not like we used to. So if we don't have money to spend to buy stuff, our economy goes to shit. So they should just be giving us the money directly. I don't know why they're not. I mean, I know why they're not. That's the whole point of the show. So assistance for the post office, that's another big thing going on right now. In case you guys don't know, the post office should be the bank. I'll probably eventually do a whole other segment on that. And, I hear people, all this weird shit, whatever, dude. Banks used to be, the post office actually used to be banks. And plenty of video evidence out there. I'll do another segment about it later. But if there's any organization in the United States that is poised to be the most effective banking system for Americans all across the country, it is the United States Post Office. Well, why, Derek? Well, it's because the post office is everywhere already. Everywhere already. The post office is there. So when we talk about rural banking and banking in the middle of like nowhere, Kansas, but I mean, it's like, I'll take that back. Nowhere, Kansas, I'm not saying it's not important. It is important. Everywhere in the United States is important. But what I'm saying is like in these rural areas where the population is very limited, there's still a post office there, right? Chase Bank is not going to move into that area unless it's economically viable for them to do so, unless they're going to make money off of it. The post office doesn't have that same mindset. It doesn't have that same operating ethos, right? The post office was set up to serve the people, to serve us our mail. And at one time, they also served us some funds. So I personally would like to see that happen again. So, and not go bankrupt. So this is supposed to give money to them, $25 billion. And then election security. security. Look at that. Last on the list of here, $3.6 billion in grants for states planning and preparing elections. I really hope our elections go well this year. How about you? So there's a lot of variables to that, and as we get closer to the real to the election season that we know of as the general election, it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out, right? Because we already seen how it rolled out in New York and Illinois and all these other places where the elections either happened, didn't happen, got wiped off, got brought back by a judge, like all this stuff, right? Are we doing mail-in ballots? Are we sending messenger carrier pigeons with our vote? Like, what are we doing? We don't know. So, yeah, that's the Heroes Act in there. I'm sure, let's bring in Mo. Mo, you got a few words for the Heroes Act? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of reading myself.
Okay.
So on top of the numbers you noted, I looked at the airline industry.
My guy.
There's an additional $30 billion in there for those guys. And it's for the same terms. It does extend out to 2021. But when you have the CEO of Boeing get on national television and say, by the end of the year, one major airline carrier will not be here anymore. He didn't say which one, but he did say that. Also, he made the statement that what company wants the government with a major stake in their company? He said, nobody wants that. So we're not going to take a bailout. He said, we have people beating down our door to buy our debt. So just to give you a little idea, that money's appropriated. You might have somebody take that, one of the airline carriers, one of our domestic carriers, but, just to stimulate domestic travel. If anything, that'll come back first. But I don't foresee, it's going to be one of those things. Right now we're watching the shoe drop. So the airline industry dies, the tourism industry dies. What happens to restaurants, malls, popular tourist attractions? What happens to all these places? You don't have that stuff anymore. So it's going to take a while to come back.
Yeah.
I saw one of the objections I asked myself, I said, well, why would the Republicans object to this bill? And one of the major things that I'm hearing is there's a change to the taxpayer ID that allows for a EIN instead of a social security number.
So an employer identification number.
Right. So that allows for illegal immigrants to collect the stimulus benefits as well. So the Republicans don't want to go for that. And then also the remote voting, it's one of those things that's more of a progressive ideal.
Yeah, I know. So, here, yeah. I actually found some interesting figures myself. So you remember how this is don't stay with me, okay? Do you remember how so long ago there was this guy who was trying to be president and his main idea was to give everyone health care? And everyone was like, you know what, you crazy ass old dude, we just don't have the money. We can't pay for that. We can't do it. It just doesn't work, right? So in 2018, the federal budget for that year was $4.1 trillion, okay? So over 10 years, do the math, it's $40 trillion. And don't get me wrong, that's the entire thing, right? This fucking bill, just this bill, the HERO Act, is $3 trillion. $3 trillion, okay? Medicare for all over 10 years was supposed to cost $32 to $34 trillion, and that was from the Urban Institute study, right? And to be honest, there's 24 other studies that have the same figure. So this whole notion that we can't afford this shit, I'm I don't get it. These people just do not want to give Americans health care. And if there's any other signal, and again, feel free to rebut, but if there's any other signal to the American people right now that the red team and the blue team, the players, right, the politicians, and I'm not saying the people, and I also want to clarify something. I say Democrats a lot, and I probably should be a little more clear and concise with who I'm talking to when I say that, as to not conflate normal people who have good intentions with entrenched interest politicians who don't have a human like vibe anymore, right? So mostly when I talk Democrats, I'm talking about these people with the power. So again, Democrats, powerful Democrats, elected Democrats, and elected Republicans are on the same team. They do not want to give us
I
health
agree.
care.
I agree with you there. They are on the same. Oh, well, they have the same mission. I won't say they're on the same team.
Fair.
What I would say is, if you believe that the United States will be here for forever, and you're on one side of the fence, and then somebody else is on the other side of the fence, what do you want? You want to preserve your side of the fence. And so, what do? If I believe my population is going to increase as these babies are popped out, these corona babies are popped out, the coronials,
Yeah.
we're going to have to espouse some beliefs on them. They're going to be either Republican or Democrat, one of the two. And as time goes on, so here it is. They have the same mission for you to eat out of their hands, right?
Right.
We're going to spend the money, but we want to make you guys wait. We want to drag it out for as long as we can. It's like pardon my French, but it's like edging. It's like you just can't they don't want to just give
Did you say it's
everything
like
outright.
edging?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what it is. You're
Yeah.
teasing people.
No,
It's like you ever seen the commercial? The guy that's holding the fishing rod, and he's like, "Oh, gotta try a little harder. Oh, gotta try a little harder."
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I can imagine.
All right, it's one of those things. Like it's just keep the carrot in front of everybody. Keep everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
that's what it is. It's more or less that. So.
You know what I think it is really? I think it's like as soon as people understand, like there was a time when the people figured out how powerful we were. And that happened at more than one point in American history, let alone world history, right? And so that's when we have these movements, these mass movements like women's rights, civil rights, workers' rights. Like these things are literally moments in time when people understood their collective power. And I think what to your point is the politicians, the powerful, they understand that stick in the carrot. I can keep this horse moving as long as they see that carrot and they never get to it. But once they
Right.
figure out how to walk into a wall and break the stick and then get the carrot, right? Then they're like trying to get everything.
It's like you said, everybody's distracted now. So now like we're just passing out money, right? Oh, here's $1,200 here. Here's $1,200 here. Oh, we're thinking about another $2,000. They're just buying votes, man. That's all they're doing.
Well,
right? They're buying your love.
Yeah,
It's
all
like
while people all while like what was it? The President Trump had like a stake in a private airline company or something. It was like private charter jets or something like that. Them assholes got a lot of money. They were one of the first people to get bailout money. Do you know there's people right now who still haven't got that first stimulus check? And again,
absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I'm not shocked there.
Yeah, and look, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I refrain from saying illegal immigrant because they're undocumented citizens as far as I'm concerned, because the majority of those people pay taxes in some form or another, and so they are contributors to our economy and our livelihood and stuff. I'm not chastising you. I'm just saying my personal thing, but they definitely haven't gotten any stimulus checks, right? Like you were saying, for them to put that number,
So there it is. My personal opinion on that is, if I pay taxes, I am entitled to every service that tax.
We paid into this shit.
Right. So I mean, I agree. With the change. It's just a talking point. It's a talking point for a Republican to get votes. Right. We're tough on illegal immigration. They've already started with the commentary. Illegal immigration is down. Well, no shit, dude. Like. We locked the freaking borders. You know what I mean? Like nobody can come in from Canada, nobody can come in from Mexico. Like nobody's coming from anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, and to be honest, just because someone doesn't have the highest education level doesn't mean they don't understand survival. Okay.
Right.
And it's not a good survival measure to trek to try to cross the American border right now, right? With everything that's going on, the virus,
I'll tell you something
camps
else.
and all that shit.
It's perspective. So here in Texas now, the lady that opened up her hair salon and she ended up going to jail for it.
Oh, the martyr?
She's a hero now.
Yeah,
right. But she has the same status as an undocumented citizen, as you call it. She has the same status, a
Right.
taxpayer ID, and so she
Right.
cannot get benefits. Her thing is just characterized different in the media. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's all framing.
It's the
It's
exact
the
same
media.
thing. It's all
Yeah.
framing. Just
'Cause
buying votes. That's all I'm doing.
It's all framing, dude. I like 100, like when the media at large, and I don't mean like the local, Ken's 5 News in San Antonio, but when like the media at large all are reporting on the same stuff, isn't it funny how everything kind of works? Like something happens for that topic, like there's some
Yeah, the news.
justice or something that happens because everyone's talking about it. It's such bullshit. So, anyways, all right. So, you got any more on the Heroes Act? You got any more to add on that?
No, I mean, I just the same thing with the defense bill. We just passed it recently at the end of the year. Here we are. We're flying the Thunderbirds, and everybody over America. We've got to spend that money some way, somehow. So
Right.
that's what people. I mean, it's a goodwill. It's a good gesture. People deserve it, but it's one of those things. When people see that type of stuff, just realize that's where the money comes from. We can make light of it, but that's really where the money comes from. So
And there's no free lunch, man. And that's the
no,
problem is these
nothing
people are
free.
eating for free off of the lunch that we're all paying for. And that's not okay. All right, Mo, we'll bring you back here in a bit. Thanks for the insight.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I wanted to do one more thing on that. So when I was looking through the Heroes Act, go back into the Heroes Act if you don't mind the PDF. Oh, here, let me pull it up. So you see right here where I highlighted the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act of 1985. So it's referenced in here that this was under the $3 billion for the child nutrition programs. It was saying that that such amount is designated by Congress as being for an emergency requirement pursuant to section this and this of this act. So basically saying that it's reasoning for appropriating this money here is because it is designated in a previous act. That's my interpretation. I think that's what it is. So what I did was I actually went and I looked that up because I was like, all right, let me check this Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act, right? So check this out. Let's take a little trip down memory lane here. So found a really dope website that, as you can see, there's a timeline here on the left of all of these like fiscal policies that were enacted and stuff. And so 1985 Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficit Control Act. For reference, Reagan is the president at this time. Ronald Reagan, the Messiah, the demigod, is that the right word? The omnipotent ruler of all things red team, like the fucking Jesus. You get it. Ronald Reagan. All right? Listen, I have tons of reservations about that guy. And you know what? I'm still learning more about that guy. I don't know everything about him. I just know what I've learned thus far. And to be honest, like, I don't know, I think we probably could have had a beer together, but we probably definitely ideologically probably didn't align much. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because the mindset of the politicians at this time far different than what we have now. The Congress of 1985 is not the Congress we have now. After reading through this, like, I was more saddened than I already was. Like, I already knew that the polarization of our parties had become very extreme. Very left, very right, right? But here, you'll see what I'm talking about when I go through here. So basically what it was, it's better known as the Graham-Rudman-Hollings Act, okay? It created a series of deficit targets meant to balance the federal budget by 1991, okay? So this was over the course of 6 years. There were supposed to be different targets that you would hit for the deficits, and if you didn't reach those targets, sequestration, which is automatic spending cuts, would kick in across the board. Now, this is where it gets really good, because what it included, and oh my God, if anyone in fucking Congress now would bring up the shit that was in here, people would go apeshit. For instance, the red team would go apeshit. So I created a 5-year deficit reduction plan while decreasing targets, right, 91. Check this out. 50% of the cuts would come from domestic discretionary spending, and 50% would come from defense. It's right here. Look at this. 50% would come from defense. Now, you're saying, okay, well, whatever. They just were voting on it. Like, what? It passed. Reagan signed it. Of course he didn't. It even says right here. Nevertheless, the Reagan administration, right here. Nevertheless, the Reagan administration opposed the mandated 50% cuts in defense spending and provided only lukewarm support for the measure. Right? But as you can see right here, it was signed into law by Reagan in 1985. This was a time when the red and the blue team figured out a way to figure it the fuck out and work together because they understood that there was things bigger than themselves. We don't have that now. We just talked about the Heroes Act that the Dems put up, which that is not fair of you Democrats, powerful Democrats. It is not fair of you to push this bill through without any bipartisan support. That is not cool. You can't say these people don't play nice and then not play nice with these people. You know, I'm not trying to be righteous or anything, but that's usually the card that y'all pull. You're supposed to, you're always party of inclusion and all this stuff, right? You're supposed to be the better people, and then you go and you do stuff like this. And you know it's not going to get passed. You're just trying to please the Democrats. You're trying to please the people who are believing in you, who believe that you're actually trying to help them. And there's a lot of progressives that have parts of this bill that are in there, and I'm glad that some of these things are in there, but you too know that this isn't going to pass. So why are you not calling out the bullshit for what it is? So just to finish off this 85 balanced budget. Also, 85 was probably one of the best years on record. I kind of got here. Just saying. I'll leave it at that. So in 86, for full disclosure, in 86, the Supreme Court ruled the act unconstitutional on the grounds that the sequestration process gave Congress undue budgetary power, because, right, we have a check and balance system. But in 87, it was passed again with new sequestration process, and the revised legislation was pushed back into 1993 when a up-and-coming, he was a senator, I think, from Arkansas, guy who plays the saxophone like Lisa Simpson, only better. Who was the guy in the episode with Lisa? Remember the sax guy and he died? I don't know. Anyways, it definitely wasn't Bill Clinton. But this is Bill Clinton. Yeah. So when this kind of like ended in 93, Bill Clinton had his first budget go out. The rest is history. You can go look into that yourself. This is off the bancroft.berkeley.edu website. Slaying the Dragon of Debt is the headline here. I suggest you go check it out. It's pretty interesting. I definitely went through a rabbit hole last night, and it was fun. I loved it. All right, cool. So that's all I got to say about that. Enough of the Heroes Act. Enough of these people not caring about us. You already know. Oh, that came back at me. Okay. All right, cool. So next story. Oh, you know what I want to do? Okay. Let's talk Tesla. Let's talk Elon Musk, right? So on the heels of what Mo and I were talking about with the carrot and the stick and the people and the power, right? You don't know how powerful you are. You don't. I'm trying to tell you. As soon as you figure it out, let me know, and I'll stop telling you. But you are so powerful. Alone, you're powerful. Imagine how powerful an alone person, meaning like an individual, you as the individual with this much power, and this person as an individual with that much power, and this person, and then when you all come together, it's like fucking Captain Planet comes through. You remember that shit with the rings, and they're like, heart and wind and all that, and they came together, and like Captain Planet showed up, and like everything was cool. I'm serious. It's like, bro, they've been trying to tell us since we were kids. You know what I mean? So seriously, we need to start collectively organizing again, right? There's certain things in this country that need to be handled, and they need to be handled right now, okay? A lot of workers' rights issues, a lot of women's rights issues, a lot of undocumented persons' rights issues, children's rights. Like, there's just all kinds of things right now that need to get done. I personally believe the most important issue facing our nation right now is healthcare, as is evident by this damn pandemic. Again, not trying to rub it in the faces of everyone who is a believer of the blue team, but genuinely, when I'm coming from a really good place when I say, where I'm sorry that you've been swindled, because for the 30 some odd million of you that are now unemployed, who a good majority of you had employer funded or employer provided, and it's not even employer funded because you're still paying for some of it anyways. But those of you who said, well, I like my insurance from my employer, I love it, I don't want universal health care, whatever, where is your health care now? I welcome you into this boat, saddened that you had to come here under these circumstances. I wish for better days in your future, and I wish that our healthcare system would be fixed sooner in the future, so that what you're feeling right now, because everything has been ripped from you, especially the most important thing, because I know a lot of you all have families and you have babies and stuff, man. And I know that's expensive. I think having a kid in America is like 30 grand or something. Like, just to begin the life of your loved one costs that much. I think the lowest estimates is like 10, 12 grand. And then as that child ages under your care, you could be the best parent ever. And the same thing could happen to that child that happened to me. You just find a lump one day. Everything gets turned around, right? And you've been I was I had the VA there when I needed them to save my life. That is a socialist healthcare program. You all, in addition to me, pay for veterans to have health care. Why can't we do that for everyone? Politicians now are asking us to pay to bail out the airlines. Politicians asked us to pay under Obama to bail out the banks and the auto manufacturers. I don't need a fucking car. I need a doctor. You know? You're not going to die if you don't have a car. But you can die if you don't have the right doctor to save your life. So Medicare for All, I think, is incredibly important. I don't care what you call it, by the way. It doesn't have to be called Medicare for All. I don't give a fuck if it's called Everyone Gets to Stay Alive Act of 2020. Figure out some stupid acronym so you can call it like Savers or something, you know? But that's important. We have the money for that shit. Again, Pac said it. They got money for wars but can't feed the poor. I literally will say that every single day until you understand what that means. I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, the Tesla. Part of the reason why Elon Musk was able to push California to the place that he wanted it to go was because of all of the other people who were out there protesting to reopen California and to let people go back to work, and all the workers who were willing to go back to work. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's 100% correct in this entire thing, because some of the reports that I was hearing was that like he told people like, hey, you come back or you don't have a job. You know, that's kind of a shitty ultimatum. And to be honest, like, don't quote me on that. But it was something along those lines where it's like, we're opening. You should come back to work. But the reality is these people wanted to go back to work. And every circumstance is different here. But to go back on the thing about collective bargaining, about coming together and knowing your power, he was just a figurehead for something bigger. And what was bigger was the idea that all these people collectively wanted this thing. And he said, fuck it. We'll take it by force. And that's what I want you to take away from this Elon Musk thing, is taking it by force. And I don't mean violence, but I mean force, right? A peaceful protest of thousands of people marching on a certain area to get a certain message across, that's taking it by force. Literally, I heard, I don't know who it was. It was one of the governors or one of these people. They were doing one of their daily addresses. The guy literally said the quiet part out loud. He literally said, we can't throw all these people in jail. There's not enough room in the jail. There's not enough people to keep them jailed. There's not enough cops to arrest everybody at the same time. Whoa. First time I ever heard someone say the quiet part out loud. I should have grabbed the clip. That's like the only thing that's been keeping you from going out and demanding everything you want, right? I don't want to go to jail. I got to go to work tomorrow. You know, like that kind of shit. Now let's take all that away. Let's take it all away and just really, you can. And we'll pick a day that works for everyone. We'll figure out what it is. Is it like a Saturday? Maybe like late afternoon? Really? I think any day is a good day for a peaceful protest. But if we really find the right day, then it would probably be the best day. You know what? I'm not even going to play this video because I think I talked too long about it, and I think you already know the story. But as you can see from the headline down here, can you just throw my screen on real quick so they can see it? Of this video. It's Tesla, California, county officials reach a deal to reopen plant. Do you know how he did that? He just opened it. He literally just opened his plant. You can go back to me. He literally just opened his plant and he said, I'm on the line with my workers. If you want to come in and arrest anyone, let it only be me. He took it by force. And you know what? California couldn't say no. You know why? Because 10,000 people are employed in California by Tesla. Strength in numbers, man. Strength in numbers. Know your power. Know your worth. Know the limitations of power that you have, and know the limitations of power that the people who are over you have. And then exploit the power structure. Learn the rules of the game and fucking kill it. I've been playing chess since my cousin Nick taught me when I was a kid. And I didn't realize it until now that that's what I have been doing my whole life. Was I was just figuring out, right? Like everyone was like, yo, you can't do all these things, Derek. You can't say these things, Derek. You can't just do this. And I was like, well, why not? They're like, well, there's these rules. Like, all right. Well, what are the rules? Obviously, I had to learn all the rules for myself most times. But you're all capable of doing that as well. But once I started learning the rules of the game, and I understood the limitations of their power, and I understood the limitations of my power, then I could start predicting moves, just like chess. And that's when I started navigating the murky waters of life. And to this day, I continue to try to use that same strategy to like not die and like go crazy and to get things done. So, strength in numbers, learn the rules of the game, and just keep playing chess. So I'll leave it at that. All right, so let's go to, get a little drink of water here. So I'm going to go into the, I want to talk about the Navajo Nation's battle with the coronavirus here. I'm going to play a short clip. I think, look, I don't know if you think this is important, but I think it's important. These people have been just forgotten. And I don't like to use the word shame a lot, but it's shameful that we've all, even me, we've forgotten about these people from time to time. And I don't expect them to be on our minds every minute of every day. But I'm pretty confident you haven't said anything about them in the past few weeks. It's just the way it goes. I haven't had anyone around me come and say, hey, have you heard what happened to the native people? No one does that. So, in addition to alcoholism and drug issues and other things that are just destroying those nations, and these are sovereign nations, by the way. These are countries inside of a country, but it's kind of a different situation because there's some treaties between treaties. When's the last time you heard of a treaty, right? There's actual treaties that were signed, many years ago that are still they're still enacted today. Like they're still happening, right? Like they're still valid, and it's between the United States government and the organizations, whatever the organizational structure is within each one of these nations. So while they are sovereign nations, the U.S. government owes these people, and rightfully so. So I'm going to play this clip. Stay with me, and let's go from here. Yes or no? Okay, 1 second. I'm pulling it out of here, so. Okay, here, let me start this from one. So we're gonna stop there. So yeah, this video is on Vice News. If you want to go check it out later, it's on Vice News' YouTube channel. So I wanted to bring that up because I wanted everybody to know what was happening to these people. And as you could see, the coronavirus has negatively impacted them more than even New York. So while every day Andrew Cuomo is getting this praise for being the fucking savior of a nation and all this shit, there's a far worse problem happening in the original peoples of this land. And I think that's important to talk about. And I also, they mentioned in there a third of that nation doesn't have running water. Now, we all know about Flint and some other areas in the United States right now who have water issues. But if a third of America didn't have water, do you think we'd all just be chilling right now? This is how they normally live. It's just now because coronavirus that Vice News is going in there to do a story about it. You know what I mean? Think about that when you go take a shit later in that clean water. All right. I want to let's go to Mo. Let's go to Mo and let's do the hey Mo. Let's do the I know.
What's up, man?
It's like an emotional roller coaster in here, man. I'm trying to like keep it all together.
Nah,
bro.
I was taking notes and yeah. Anyway, what's up, man?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything on the Navajo Nation? I mean, you're more than welcome. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I mean, I agree with you. And even with Flint, there's I don't think that we should have any issue here in the United States with the amount of money that we print on a yearly basis. I don't believe we should have any issue such as the ones we have now, be it infrastructure. I understand there's some social issues we need to work out, but we can print money all day.
All day.
And that's the solution to some of this. That is the solution. Just print some money, pay somebody to get it done, and we'll worry about the shit on the back end. So
Yeah, because we're not paying down debt now, anyways, and it's like they only. I don't know. I don't even want to. Let's get into the money though, because you're gonna go over Powell, what Powell came through with this week. Let me pull up your thing here.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
And something you talked about as well, just to tap on something earlier. You talked about Reagan signing legislation.
Yeah.
Well, something on the page, it talked about Paul Volcker. Okay, now we had something called the Volcker Rule instituted after the financial crisis of 2008.
Right.
Well, little do people know, last year we got rid of the Volcker Rule, and this was right after Trump put tariffs on China. So just something, just keeping everybody distracted. We got rid of the regulations that we put in place. And then now, because of the coronavirus, the banks do not have to have the same reserve requirements. Their reserve requirements are gone now. So
that's the
both
thing
of those things that we put in place, they're gone now.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I was doing some research on negative interest rates, and it's kind of like to keep them from holding too much money, they get penalized for having too much liquidity in the bank and stuff like that.
Supposedly, they lower the rates to spur investment. Take the money,
start
you start making any money.
Yeah,
there you go.
I don't
know,
the
man. Question now,
we'll see how this.
Why not? Why are you not lending this money? That's the question. That's the question the Fed is asking now. Why are you guys not lending money? But it's just clear as day. We'll get into it when we get into the slides.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I don't know if this video. Oh, so it links to another video, but I'll play it. So
you don't have. It's funny. You can even turn the sound off if you want.
No. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
So go to my computer. So this is the opening slide of Mobley's. You want to add a box for him on here as well, because when I go to my PowerPoint, you'll want to see him as well. This is the PowerPoint, yeah. So this is the opening slide for Mo's PowerPoint, which if you don't know, Money Printer Go. I really think people don't understand. If I'm not mistaken, it's like, isn't it like $1 million a second that he's printing right now? Wait, this is the one I want though. This is the good one. This is the best. Oh, do I have audio coming out here? There it is. Ready? Y'all ready? Look, we're gonna turn it up as we print more money. All right, I'm over it. All right. Money Printer Go Burr. We get it. All right, it's like a crypto thing. It's like a non-crypto thing. It's just a thing. The reality is, when the money printer goes, it goes just like that. So there it is. All right, write the check. Start us off, Mo. He's gonna
My
pull
pit
up
bull's
my
barking.
for now. Sorry.
I have my.
There you go. Oh, did you get it? Oh, you got a dog? You got a pit bull? Oh, the tiny. I was like, okay. What is the other dog? It's like a toy something, no? Yorkshire Terrier. No worries. So go ahead, talk us through this first slide. So we got right to check on there. Really? Oh, because it's your room. Oh, right. Right. Years. Yep. Yep. All the taxes. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It says additional fiscal support could be costly, but worth it if it helps avoid long-term damage and leaves us with a stronger recovery. This trade-off is one for our elected representatives who wield powers of taxation and spending. Right. Yeah, just ask for more money. Well, it's supposed to be. Oh yeah. Elected officials, which is kind of like it's kind of like punting. He's just like answer the damn question, bro. Like you know what I mean? It's just a deflect. It's just so he doesn't have to own any of it. I mean, every Ben Bernanke, they all did the same thing. These assholes destroyed our economy, allowed it to happen. I get you have lending powers, but not spending powers. How about you close your fucking bank account or close your wallet? How about you say no, elected officials? I think this is going to actually destroy the economy. How about you figure out a better way to fix this? You know what I mean? Like you could say like, no, I'm not going to give you money for these programs, but I'll give you money for those, right? Like if the money goes directly to the people, how about this? I'm the Federal Reserve. I'll give money to the people, not the banks. They don't work that way. Illusion. Yeah. Yeah. Right. All right. Next slide. But before you do, right. Right. Yeah, like that's gonna be the new business model that's gonna spur you into prosperity. No, not at all. Yeah, no, there's a lot that's about to go away. Right, right. There's so yeah, there's so many like on that point. I mean, I'm, when you were a kid, and not to go too far off, but when you were a kid, do you remember learning about your immune system and what its purpose was and what it did to get the shit? Right. Yeah, polio. Yeah, I know. I think you kind of yeah. Right. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to get too far off that tangent, but I just I think that people are trying to put too much emphasis on a magic, just magic happening, and magic would literally be a vaccine coming within 8 months' time, or Redesmavir being like a wonder drug. It's like, listen, man, like your body is the only shit. There's a reason why the common cold just comes around every damn year, right? Um, so I don't know. There's a whole. It's very nuanced with that. I'm not saying open the economy and fucking get your grandma killed and all that shit. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the basic premise of the human immune response is to allow it to do its job. As far as I was concerned, that was the last thing I knew. But or yeah, the vaccine. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then yeah, they're saying that too, right? Like okay, so you make this vaccine. the first question is always who's going to pay for it, right? And then, yeah, so you mean 30 million people unemployed? Let's say half of them lost their insurance. So 15 million unemployed. Um, Obviously, we have to pick up the bill, and rightfully so, but it's kind of like, I don't know, that's a whole other story. Anyways, yeah, right, right, company, right. Well, he's asked, yeah, he knew the answer before he asked it, right? Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. Right. Yeah. No free lunch. Yeah, no free lunch. On the Bernie note, he kind of pissed me off this week. He was the only person that needed to vote against a surveillance bill, and he didn't. Yeah, so all you people who are using incognito browser, it doesn't work. Just so you know. Yeah, it all goes through Comcast or who do you got in SWBC, SBC? Who's in San Antonio? The internet? That's AT&T. Yeah, like you can use the incognito browser on your device, but you're still pinging a server somewhere, and it's still going through the internet company. Like whatever. That's a whole other story. Let's get back on the Jerome Powell policies we'll need. Right. Yeah. Right. That's all it is, man. It really that's all it is. Like, listen, like if the airlines go bankrupt, you know how many people that have money, like that have cash, like liquid, like millions and billions, that are would just like go get right in there and pick it up, or like funds would be created to buy that, or another company would be created to run that. Like I always forget the guy's name, but he just had this conversation with someone on CNBC. He's like, when a company files for, huh? Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I mean, he literally said the company, like, it doesn't stop, it doesn't go away. It just the ownership structure changes, the payout structure changes. Like the operations still happen while the whole deal is being figured out. Like you don't just declare bankruptcy, shut off the lights, and walk out. Like for some businesses, yeah, that actually does happen, right? Like you decide you can't run your restaurant anymore, you turn off the lights, you lock the door, and you leave, right? But something like an airline, it the structure and the structural way that the bankruptcy rolls out is far different than the small restaurant. So both of us on two side by side. Split screens. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, that's all they care. That's it. That's it. And they do this thing where they don't look at the whole number. It's like you can't hear me. I'm gone. Okay. Yeah, and they don't even look at like a whole number. It's like 3.2 trillion, right? So that doesn't even register to them. They don't even see the digits of that actual number. No, they're removed from reality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's a whole issue for Citizens United, right? Because apparently corporations are people now. Thank you, Supreme Court. So, uh, we'll figure that out here in the next few years. I bet. All right, cool. Let's run through this. So, no negative rates. Yeah, 'cause yeah, that's it. That's how it works. Bro, yeah. Like this is like if again telltale signs of what's really happening. Why is the stock market not crashed by now? There's 33 some odd million people that don't have jobs right now. With the damn unemployment rate, what? Huh? Yeah, yeah, we're going to that. Yeah. No, right. But what I yeah. but yeah, it's just collectively like when you look at the indices numbers, excuse me, that is a reflection of the health and vibrancy and resiliency of all the companies that are contained within that index or that exchange. Am I correct on that notion? So if we know that 30 million people are no longer working in these companies, how the hell is that company still seen as viable and all that stuff? And then we're not just talking about one. We're talking about collectively, a bunch of these companies on this exchange are the only thing they have now is that they've been pumped with liquidity by the Fed. And that's the only reason why. Huh? So you're saying like Apple's carrying the weight of that entire exchange? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, with the Max, the 737 Max, right? Yeah. Like TJ Maxx, TJX. Oh, okay. Oh, right. No, I hear that. So I found this thing yesterday. You were talking about. Let me look this up real quick. When you're talking about the Walton, dude. So you do know that there's a daily. Found it. Forbes has. You can go back to the screen we were on before. Forbes has a real-time billionaires list of the day. So every day at 5 p.m. Eastern for trading, right? The prior right here, flex changes since the prior trading day. They publish the winners and losers. Bro, the numbers today were not like yesterday. You remember we were looking at this, Hector? Dude, yesterday Warren Buffett lost $770 million, and Mark Zuckerberg made $1.5 billion, right? Yeah, it's Jiffy. No, I'm just kidding. It's like a big deal. No, cause some people are like it's GIF. And for me, it's GIF, and the only reason why I say it's GIF, well, obviously Jiffy or Giphy is a different thing, but it's off the same play. The guy that created that file format, the .gif, he says that it's pronounced GIF, and people are like, well, it's GIF. Like, how can it be GIF? You don't say GIF. And I said, well, do you say giraffe or do you say giraffe? So there's that. I'm done with that. All right. So Okay, so here's our real-time billionaire list, though. I wanted to show you that. Oh, they're not on here today. Oh, there they are. There's the Waltons, all three of them. Look at that. So you were talking about Walmart, right? And what did you say about Walmart right now? You said yeah, that they're losing money. They just can't handle it, right? And they've owned it for the past 20 years. Like they owned retail for the past 25 some odd years, right? Yeah, no, that's that. To be honest, like right. Oh yeah, they killed all small business. I just like three people on this family. Three people of this family are number 12, 13, and 14 of the richest people in the entire world. Billionaires. Three of them. When we talk about the consolidation of wealth and power, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's crazy. They have collectively 100 what's that, 55 times 3? I don't know, really bad at math. 165,000, I'm sorry, $165 billion. That's insane. Bezos only has 140, only has 145. But whatever. That's too much money. All right, let's finish off this right here. So yeah, I think the last part on here was about the harsh realities. Okay, yeah. So we got Woodland based on the 2019 balance sheet. 2 out of 5 people making under 40K lost jobs. Minorities are the hardest hit. Right, right. All right, go. Right. Yeah. That was another topic of debate was about startup funding, right? So startups are notorious for just not going very far after they've started up, right? And so they were saying, well, should we be loaning money to startups who have such a high failure rate? Like, just that whole vibe, So I don't know. That was something people were talking about the other day on some show I was watching. Let's move on. Let's finish out this. Last point was we'll face harsh realities and adjust as they come to fruition. Yeah, we just gotta do it. Just gotta run through it. All right. So tell me why you got all these DJT quotes here. These official presidential tweets. We're talking about the Federal Reserve, right?
something for nothing, pretty much.
Right.
And here's another thing too. I've loaned you money. Let's just say I gave you a loan at 5%, a 100K loan at 5%, and I am a bank. I have forecasted that 5% interest payment from you as part of my earnings. And now, if I continuously cut rates to zero or even go negative,
Right. Right. Well, but it's also, but if I'm not mistaken, it's also an instance where, like you said, there's no incentive. Like negative rates are the ultimate incentive for banks to lend people money, right? Because they're being charged for holding on to that money. And so, of course they don't want negative rates. The whole idea of this shit is to never give people money so that they can keep it for themselves and hold on to it. First, and a lot of this is like fictitious money anyways, because like you can't go to a bank and even if I have $1 million, let's say I have $1 million, I can't walk into Chase and say, "Can I have 1 million greenbacks? Can I get them frog skins?" They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. So I don't know. It's all about consolidation. I could go for how do I say this? Because treasury bonds are nothing more than debt that's packaged to be paid off later, right? So yeah. Well, this week, yeah, this week. Can we go back to double? So this week we saw the unveiling of the Space Force flag, and as we're talking about debt packaging of debt to be sold as government bonds later, or now rather to be paid later. I think I could have done without a Space Force. I think when you and I were in the Air Force, I think we had that whole alien thing down. Like I think we could have handled it. And so to spend all this money on an extra force, like it's fucking stupid. We didn't need it. We're paying for it now. So I get that, buying bonds is safe money and we don't need to fight aliens, bro. Yeah. No, I know. But you didn't have to create a whole nother force. Like they just give us extra damn what did they give us all the time? Like Leathermans and shit. Like just give out more Leathermans, man. I know. It's awful, dude. Did you see these fucking people so proud of their fucking flag? Do you know that's literally the Star Trek logo? They just fucking ripped off Star Trek, dude. It's so I hate it. I hate it. I'm sure everyone that's gonna serve in that branch of the military are fucking top-notch individuals, and so everything I say about the Space Force has nothing to do with them. So I want to let that be clear. Whatever, man. Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. Hand sanitizer. Yeah. 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 That was definitely something that Tesla put into heavy motion with the advent of their electric vehicle, and the the partnership that they made with Panasonic to build I think it was a gigafactory or something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's give you a little traction. We got is this is your go back to that screen real quick. This is your for sure. Uh, Sounds good. All Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, really great insight as always. Stick around though, if you don't mind. I think you might have something to add to this next segment that I'm going to run into. All right, yeah, cool. All right, thanks, dude. All right. So yeah, I hope you guys got a lot of valuable information about that and what's going on with the Federal Reserve right now. I mean, it's all about what's happened, what's going on with the money, what's going on with the economy. Uh, you have to really pay attention. So yeah. All right. So this next story. How's everybody doing? Everybody's hanging in there, doing all right? Sweet. All right. So this next story, it was run here in Chicago, I think yesterday. Um, if you don't know about Chicago, I briefly touched on it before. There's a big divide in this city, right? And unfortunately, it's been around for far too long. So COVID-19 has disproportionately been affecting black and brown communities since it started hitting our land or whatever. But it's definitely really hard hit, black communities here in Chicago. And so I'll just let this video play a little bit. A lot of it has to do with things that they're going to go over here. So. I want to say too before we go forward that this while this story is very specific to the layout of the land per se in Chicago, this is still relevant to what's happening all across the nation. While again, Chicago is its own kind of thing, the resemblance to what's happening here can be seen all across the nation. So. So, yeah. So this goes back to what I'm talking about as far as just everything that this whole thing is about. This whole DA perspective, just be yelling into a mic. There's inequalities in our country that have existed for far too long. And we are continuously told by our elected officials that it's their top priority. Like everything is their top priority, right? Well, certain things do need to be the top priority. And they don't need to just be told to us that they're a top priority. They need to be actually acted upon. I remember all the fanfare about when Mayor Daley, who had been the mayor for like however long, and it was just this entrenched, established power structure under the Daleys. When Rahm Emanuel came in to be the successor, I believe I have that timeline correct. And because he was Obama, right? He worked with Obama. He was blue team. He was gonna fix it. He was gonna help the people the same way that Obama said he was gonna help everyone. You know, we thought we were getting, because he left his administration, I believe, in the middle of it, to come be the mayor. Food deserts still exist in the city of Chicago in the year 2020. And if you don't believe me, let's meet up in Chicago sometime. And let's go drive around some of these neighborhoods and have a chat with some of the people that live there and ask what substantial changes that they have seen in the past few years that they've actually actively been working towards as well, but have, for whatever reason, met roadblocks along the way, either from the government, the local government itself, or the businesses not seeing it as an economic opportunity. That's the problem with this financial system. This is what I've been trying to talk about with our economies. If I'm a grocer and I'm in the business to make as much money as possible because yay capitalism, what incentive is there for me to go into these impoverished communities or these low-income communities or even just middle-class communities often? What incentive is there for me to go in there and serve these people if my government runs on an economic structure that only praises getting more money? So, like I said, every day is a good day for a peaceful protest, and I think today's a good day too. So I hope that in the future we can get some more closure and some, not so much closure, but we can get some things moving in certain parts of the city that would hopefully have some form of, and to use the red team's trickle down effect towards the rest of the country, so we can start really rectifying the disparities between our communities. Is Mo still on the line? Because I know Mo has a personal connection to the city of Chicago. He grew up here, had some family here. What do you feel about everything that I just went over right now? Food prices are up. Right. At all. The damn HEBs down there are so big. It's like Six Flags. Every HEB is as big as a Six Flags amusement park, and so yeah, social distancing is not hard in a massive HEB. I was gonna ask you, have you heard about the Prime Act? PRIME. Yeah. Let me pull this up real quick. So on this same notion of bringing the food to the people, I know we got that beef shortage, or it's not a beef shortage, it's a supply chain problem. It's we can't get it to the people. Um, where's this Prime Act that so Massey, Representatives Massey and Pingree, can you pull up my, thank you, sir. Massey and Pingree, let me make this a little bit bigger for everyone. There we go. The Prime Act, two cattle raising lawmakers. So Republican Massey from Kentucky and Republican Pingree from what is that, Maine? Democrat from Maine reintroduced. I mean, it's Maine, right? Am I going nuts? It is Maine. They introduced the Prime Act to make it easier for small farms and ranches to serve customers. So right now, obviously, all the meat and stuff has to be inspected. So if we go down here to this part right here, in order for local farms to compete, they need scale-appropriate regulations. It's not realistic to ask a local farmer in Maine to drive hours to get to a USDA-inspected processing facility and turn a profit. So the Prime Act will help change federal regulations to make it easier to process meat locally, helping farmers scale up and give consumers what they clearly want. Again, I don't understand. Why. We can go back to me, or to us both. I don't understand why it takes like times of crisis for like very simple like measures to be enacted, you know? So, but they're trying something. Yeah. Restaurants. Right. Purdue. Yeah. Yeah. Local. Yeah. But they still the yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Well that well that's what it is. It's the USDA. It's like they have to send their meat to a facility instead of sending us an inspector to the meat place, like to the farm or to the local butcher that's processing the meat. Like that's and we create jobs and it's just like yeah. So, all right, Mo, I'm going to wrap this up. We've been here for a while, so I know people have been here this whole time, so I appreciate that too. So I know. All right, Mo. Hey, appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you soon. All right. I do. Peace. Yeah. So yeah, let's wrap it up. I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Again, I hope everybody is in as good a spirits as they can be, given the Corona, or the Rona, as the cool kids are saying. I can't lose the coolness, dude. Honestly, I feel like that's the essence of like why I'm still breathing every day. So, yeah, the Rona. Hopefully everyone's still feeling okay. Hopefully everyone is looking out for each other and at least communicating with people, even if it's just to read messages. Hopefully there's a reply though. But yeah. So as always, I may not always be correct, but at least I started the conversation. So I hope a lot of you start more conversations in your household. And I know all the things that we're not supposed to talk about. What is it, like sex, religion, money, politics, shit like that? Nah, fuck all that. let's start talking about it, because we're not going to fix anything. And everyone has a damn opinion. So have an opinion and a desire to talk about it, or shut the fuck up. So peace out, and we'll see you next week.